All right. Topic of this video is now, singularity, and the structure of understanding. As in the now, the endless, continuous now. Not the past, present, or future, the endless now. This will be the fourth video of what I said was 3 before, but this foundationally names the very structure of analysis that I'm going to be speaking from in that sense. Like, what's it all, like, what, everything I'm going to express, what's it all regarding? And it's all in the current now. Period. Got to get into it. I want to describe something that is so familiar, it's usually invisible. Not a belief, not a spiritual idea, not a psychological technique. Just a structural fact of experience. This is about now, not as a feeling, not as a philosophy, but as the foundation that makes understanding possible at all. I'm on like 3 hours of sleep. The problem this addresses, when people hear deep clarity described, presence, flow, non-self-reference, it's often dismissed as imagination, disassociation, spiritual framing, or personal belief. But that dismissal happens because something foundational is missing from the explanation. What's missing is how understanding itself operates in time. Not clock time, not memory, not anticipation, but now as a structural condition. What the now is and is not. Actually, it's probably too. Oh yeah, that'd be a reason to give me a headache. Hair tie is just freaking too close and tight. It's pulling on my scalp and give me a headache. What's missing is how understanding itself operates in time. Not clock time, not memory, not anticipation, but now as a structural condition. What now is and is not. Now is not a moment you enter. It's not something you focus on. It's not mindfulness or awareness practice. Now is the only condition under which anything can appear at all. Perception happens now, thought happens now, understanding happens now, actions happen now. The past exists only as information in the now. The future exists only as possibility in the now. There is no experience outside of it. This isn't philosophy, it's descriptive. Singularities. When anything is reduced far enough, it becomes singular. A sound is just a sound. A sensation is just a sensation. An observation is just observation. Before meaning, before identity, before reaction. That. Understanding happens when something is allowed to exist as itself without being combined with something else. That reduction to what is only happens in now. The endless flow of now. As in, tomorrow will never be here because it'll always come into the now. When it's tomorrow, it'll be now, endlessly. Like I said, yeah, again, a sound is just a sound, a sensation is just sensation, and observation is just observation. That's foundation. That's where things start, what they are, and they flow from it. They start in the now, and they continue in the now, or they end in the now. Understanding happens when something is allowed to exist as itself without being combined with something else. I'll say that 100 times to get it through. That means before adding myself to it, what it means to me, what it means for me, through me, with me, out of me, blah, blah, all that. It's understanding happens when something is allowed to exist as itself without being combined with something else, including the self. That reduction to what is only happens in now. You cannot reduce something in the past. You cannot reduce something in the future. Singularity is a property of now. Flow, cause and effect don't happen over time the way we imagine them. They happen through now. Each now flows into the next, carrying information forward. That flow is what people loosely call momentum, alignment, life, or direction. But structurally, it's simple. What is present now determines what can follow. If clarity is present now, clarity propagates, follows. If distortion is present now, distortion follows, propagates. Flow isn't mystical, it's continuity. It's continuity. Presence and absence are not emotional states, they are structural conditions. Presence means what is allowed to be seen as it is. Absence means what is obscured, avoided, or replaced. Both are experienced only in the now. You don't experience absence in the past. You don't experience presence in the future. They're always current. This is why attention matters, not morally, but structurally. What you attend to now nourishes what continues. If you sit around and not exercise and just mainly just not even do any real physical activities, what's going to follow? Cause and effect. Your body is going to get unhealthy, and everybody knows the details of that. Everything is as simple as that in the now. The flow. Why understanding feels absolute. When something is understood at a foundational level, it doesn't feel exciting, it feels final. That's because understanding doesn't add information, it removes contradiction. Once something is clear in now, it doesn't need belief, it doesn't need reinforcement, it doesn't need defense, it simply is. That's why understanding doesn't feel like effort and why it can't be argued into existence. Why this explains non-self-referential clarity. If now is the foundation, then self-reference is optional, not required. Optional. I just happen to naturally not be in that order where I have to choose to include myself or not. I just don't naturally. I see what is regardless of me or not. Like I've said in the previous videos, like, bottle soda, is this still here? Does this change if I'm not here? If I set this down right in front of this camera and walk away in the other room where I can't see, hear it, or know it exists, is it still there? Yeah. That's how I understand things. Why this explains non-self-referential clarity. If now is the foundation, then self-reference is optional, not required. Most people are trained to insert "what does this mean for me" before understanding occurs. That's not wrong, but it's ignorant because you're only looking at it through what you want to see and not what the thing is itself. Which, my notes, it goes right to that. But if something is allowed to be seen first, in the now, understanding arises from the thing itself. Expression comes later. That difference in order explains why some people sound detached, neutral, or overly calm. Not because they're suppressing emotion, because they aren't even starting with identity. This is not claiming enlightenment, superiority, authority, or truth ownership. It's not saying this is better. It's saying this is how clarity becomes possible at all. Anyone can verify this by observation, not belief. Everything you understand happens now. Everything that flows happens through the endless now. Everything that is reduced to its essence happens now. That doesn't make now special, it makes it foundational. And once that foundation is seen, many things stop needing explanation, because they were never separate to begin with. That's all this is pointing at. Nothing more, nothing less. Just explaining the now. The understanding of the singularity of that which is the endless, infinite now. That's all. The very thing that statistically, observationally is documented, pretty much the very thing people are afraid of when it comes to accountability. Everybody's afraid of the now. It's actually not really the now that is to be feared. It's all of the lies to avoid living in the now. That easy. And now I hope this is it for the whole structural explanation on how I'm going to be talking about on videos going forward. Just, the things I'm going to be talking about, different subjects, categories, you name it, everything, just going over things. Or if I just start talking, people will have to dissect and understand it all. And if it's not coming from me, they're not going to be right, because nobody could fully understand what is being understood within another person. Not completely. Hence the purpose of these four now videos. It's an explanation on how things are seen, perceived, understood, aware, how life is referenced and what it's referenced to, which is the endless now, and what flows from it, all that. Because if I don't explain it and I'm the one understanding it, how is anybody else supposed to learn? Because this doesn't matter. I don't matter. The only thing that matters is what's being shared. That's all.